Hey there, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning into this live broadcast. Wonderful to see everybody here, all these familiar faces. It's Josh Carey, Pet Sittingology, and you are in for a jam-packed treat. This is one of our most requested topics, and the feedback in anticipation for this is just overwhelming, which means we probably will be doing something like this ongoing because this very topic is broad and vast, and there is a lot to cover. Today, though, is WordPress 101, all of the basics you need to know. As you know, we're going to share my screen and we're going to go step by step through a lot of the specifics, the basic specifics that will get you a little bit further in your WordPress knowledge so you can control, manage, and edit your website yourself as you need. I'm not doing this alone. I have my co-pilot here. It's Laura Capra from Keep Me Company Pet Sitting out there in Longmont, Colorado. How's it going in Colorado today, Laura?
It's going awesome. According to the national news, we're in a blizzard and under 10 feet of snow, when in reality it's nice and sunny, so everybody can keep thinking that. So looking forward to WordPress because I'm kind of a beginner. I do a lot of blogging and stuff like that, so really I'm looking forward to the inner workings of WordPress as well, because it's all about content. As everybody knows, that's what we talk about.
Yeah, that's right. And as we get going, you know to use that chat box. We will address that accordingly throughout. And also, I am going to load a quick little poll here. If you look on your screen, you will see a question that says, how would you best describe your current comfort level with using WordPress? And I just want to get a gauge so I know where we're at. And then at the end, hopefully we could sort of look to increase that comfort level. And while we're doing that, I asked you upon sign up, give me your biggest question and struggle. And one specific comment stood out, and it's from Tom, who wrote, WordPress is supposed to be user-friendly, but I can't get past my initial confusion with all of the options. I hear you. I get it. That is exactly the reason we're going to be doing this. When I share my screen with you, we are going to only touch upon the basics and the things you need to know, which in and of itself can take us all day. So in other words, there are so many elements available to you, but so many of them are not applicable for the majority of our lifetimes managing a website. So as you'll see, whatever we touch upon is what you can focus on, and what I don't touch upon, we're just going to leave well enough alone, because that's either going to be saved for more advanced or never needed in the future. So trust that. Okay, so looking at the poll, we see that 38% have a comfort level of 1, 25% have a comfort level of 2 and 3, and a smaller percentage, 3% and 9%, have a comfort level of 4 or 5. So that's great. My goal, as Tom said, is to hopefully alleviate all of your confusion, all of your overwhelm, so you can confidently enter into WordPress and understand how to do the most important things. And these are the things that I do day to day on my website with the blogging and adding pictures and videos and understanding all of the little nuances that once you see how they're done and why they're done, it should all click. So we're going to jump right into it. And Laura's here on board in part to help manage the comments. When I share my screen, if you have a question or a comment about it, just throw it up there. She'll relay it to me and we could address it in real time. Before we share the screen, I want to get to 2 elements of WordPress. What is WordPress and why WordPress? So you have that initial big picture. First, what is WordPress? At its core, it's simply a content management system, a CMS. It's a way for you to create and manage the pages and the overall look, design, and content of your website. It's just another web builder like the other ones have. Okay. So if you use WordPress, you know that there are so many things that help you manage it. And that's really all it is. It's no different than your other elements that help you build a website. So why WordPress? Well, there are 2 distinct reasons when we're talking about why WordPress. It's one thing, like I keep saying, it's going to help you easily manage and take control of your own edits, your own changes, your own blogs, your own pieces of content, your own images. You can literally log in, make some changes on the fly, and you can control it. It's designed to be very point and click, drag and drop. I always say that if you can create a Word document, there's a very similar feel you'll see when you're laying out your pieces of content, whether they're pages or posts. So to give you the ease of creation and management, that's why WordPress. The other most important piece is because Google loves WordPress-powered websites, and they've come right out and said it in multiple videos. Why do they love WordPress so much? Well, regardless of your website platform, regardless of the way you build and host your website, your pretty looking pages produce back-end source code, HTML code. That's the piece that Google needs to evaluate to determine the topic and the relevancy of your pages. They'll then bring that back to the search engine and then decide where it's going to rank for a whole host of key phrases. So Google is not looking at the pretty pages you and I see that the browser produces. It's looking at the back end code that WordPress creates. So the reason Google loves WordPress websites so much is because the code that it creates based on your theme, your design, your template, your layout, your content, your images is very nice and clean. And it's easy for Google to see and sift through and get an idea of what the content is about, because their job is to evaluate that relevancy and then put it in the search results. So other web builders aren't as user-friendly to Google, meaning when you're creating your template on another builder that may not be WordPress, it's producing source code that the browser is rendering as you and I see it, and Google has to sift through this source code. And again, it might be clunky and choppy and very extraneous code, and Google might have a hard time understanding what's on the page. So for those two reasons, that's why WordPress. So that's the what and the why. Like I said, we have a lot to get to. So I see no reason not to share my screen. Before I do, is there anything specific I should address here, Laura? What have I been missing?
I think it's really talking about the ease of WordPress and stuff like that. Jane did bring up kind of formatting text lines, which once we get into the screenshots, I'm sure that you'll go over. So a lot of questions that people might have now, we're going to get to.
That is great. Wonderful. So excellent. Yes. And we will be getting to all those nuances. So before I share my screen, let me just reiterate once again, if I don't touch on something as we see in the dashboard, take for granted that it's either beyond the scope of this session or it's just simply not needed. So I'll be bouncing around and you're going to get a ton of specifics. But if I don't address it, it's out of the scope of here, and it's one of those two reasons. So let's jump right to it. Let me share my screen and we shall log in and see what's what. Do you see my screen, Laura?
I do. Yep.
You see the template there?
Yep. Good to go. We heart and a little schnauzer looking dog.
It is a schnauzer looking dog. All right, we do heart them, by the way. So this is the typical template. Oh, and by the way, how could I possibly forget? Towards the end of this, I am going to be giving you a first-hand look at our very new version 3 template. If you recognize this, you know that this is called our version 2. We offer the pet industry WordPress-powered, SEO-driven templates like this with all the bells and whistles in place. We have updated this, completely given it a new look with new features, etc. By the end of this, you are going to see how that one works. And furthermore, everything that I'm touching upon today, this part is important. This is not exclusive. Excuse me. This is not exclusive to our WordPress template, meaning if you have WordPress with anybody else, this is all going to be applicable. However, I am using our WordPress template, and at the end, you're going to see how you can jump on board with a super powered version 3 that just makes your life and hours so much easier. So this is, for all intents and purposes, this is your homepage. Now, the first thing you're ever going to want to do is log in to your WordPress admin dashboard, your admin dashboard. That's a phrase you're going to hear a lot, and that's where you manage everything. The link you would want to bookmark is your website domain.com, whatever your website is, /WP-admin. Okay, so your WordPress name.com/WP-admin. That's important. That's how you're going to reach this page, which will always be your dashboard login page. So write that down, bookmark it, and you will be good to go. So here you see your username and password. If you ever forget your password or need a password reset, right from this page, underneath here, it says lost your password. So all you're going to do is click on this, and it's going to pull up this form which says enter in your username for WordPress, for your WordPress website, or the email address associated with your WordPress website. And then you would click get new password, and they'll send you a password reset in your email. It's just that simple. So here we are on the login screen. Let me take a moment and give you a couple of important pointers about this login screen. You have a username. Whenever you first have WordPress created, it is going to create one default administrative account with the username admin. Now, best practices always say the first thing you want to do is log in to your new WordPress website and delete the admin account. First, you're going to want to create a new username and password, which we're going to do in a minute, but you will want to very early on delete the admin account. If you are using our WordPress powered website, we handle this for you. We never deliver it with the admin account, so you have nothing to worry about. However, I've seen over and over default installations that have been designed and are up and running, and the username happens to be admin. Why is this bad? Because WordPress in and of itself is very susceptible to hackers and virus injections into the site. Why? It's just the nature of the beast. There are a lot of vulnerable points to WordPress, and hackers are evil people, and they try their best to utilize the vulnerabilities of WordPress. And one of the things they do is they will discover a WordPress website, and because they know that admin is the default username for so many websites and has not been deleted, they are halfway there. Now they can create a program that utilizes admin for your login screen. They know how to access your login screen, and they will get a program that just brute force attacks your screen with a tremendous amount of passwords, hoping that one of them is going to work. So that's one of the reasons you want to really secure your website and get rid of that admin name. But again, if you're using our WordPress powered template, we do that for you, so you have nothing to worry about. All right, so you're going to log in with your username and your password at thedomainname.com, yourname.com/WP-admin. You click login, and this is where you are going to enter you're going to hear this a lot, your WordPress admin dashboard, your dashboard. Again, this is typical and universal to all WordPress installations, with a few additions that might be custom to the plugins, etc. we have here and whatnot. But this is generally speaking what it'll look like. So here on the menu bar across the left-hand side here is where you have all of your options. Now, I understand this is where it could get overwhelming. If you hover over some of them, you will see you have additional options. And on and on. We're going to get to what this number 1 means over here. And again, I'm just going to say it one last time. If I don't get to something, it just means that it's not important and it's beyond the scope of this session. So the first thing I said we're going to do is go into changing your username or password. So that's going to be found right down here in the middle. It says users. And when you hover over it, you'll see you have all users, add new, or your profile. We're going to talk about all these, but if we start by clicking on all users, you'll see that this account has 3 users. I am one of them right here. So to get into my profile, if I wanted to change my email address associated with the account, or I wanted to update my password, I would click on edit here. I'd hover over it. I can actually, as administrator, edit or delete any of these. So I'm going to click on mine, edit. And if I want to change my email address, I would enter it here. See, all these things are blank because they're not necessary really. But if I want to generate a new password, I click on this. I click generate password and it will do it for me. I scroll down and I click update profile and I've either changed my info or I've changed my email address or password. So if you want to delete admin account, you would certainly create a brand new administrator account first and then delete that admin account. So now another question I get all the time is, I blog and now I want one of my staff members or my friends, or I hired someone to blog for me. How can I grant them access to my website? This is fantastic because you can create an unlimited number of users that have access to your website. Now, really, you have administrator access. If you see under here, it's role and it says administrator. That basically gives you unprecedented access to everything you can possibly need. But if somebody is going to be blogging for you, you don't really need them to know and see and have access to every setting. All they need is the post and edit options. So when you go to add new, you're going to put in a username. Generally speaking, it should be their name, their email. Those are the only required. But of course, put in their first name and last name because this is going to produce itself on the blog post. You can leave website blank. And then for show password, it is going to automatically create a very strong, look how strong that password is, because it should be strong. Remember, weak passwords are the #1 reason WordPress websites get viruses and hackers to attack because of weak passwords. So make sure to keep them strong. Also important here is where you dictate the role of the person. So if I'm giving it to a business partner, let's say, I can give them administrator access because they could be trusted with having all of this. And if I am using this to create someone who wants to blog for me, all they should have is editor access. That's good enough. You don't really need these other roles. Editor access if somebody's going to be blogging for you, and administrator access if you want to grant them all kinds of access to here. And that's really it. That's the short and long of creating a user. Sound good, Laura? Are we on track?
We're on track. And I need to do that because one of our employees is writing blogs for us. So very applicable.
Excellent. Thank you. Good to hear that. All right. So that's that. Let's go back to the dashboard. I'll leave this page because I didn't save any changes. I didn't make any changes. So we're going to go down. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we're going to touch upon. So you know, we're going to look at posts and everything. This is where we're going to spend a good deal of time because creating posts and also, if you see over here, creating pages, these are quite identical. The difference between a post and a page is your top level standard pieces of content that never move, meaning those are going to be your services page, your FAQ page, your policies page, your contact page, your about us page. Your posts is where you're going to create your blog posts. So if you're blogging, you're going to create a new post. If you want to add a page, like you're introducing a new service and you want to write about it, or you're updating your pricing and you want to have a pricing page, that's where pages is going to be. The elements, as you will see on these two pages, are quite identical, so we won't repeat them for both. But we're going to look at all things to do with posts, blog posts and articles, and your pages. We're also going to look at plugins. We're also going to look at, under, we're also going to look at, 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 lo appearance, we're going to look at widgets, and we're going to look at menus. That's your menu bar. That in and of itself is going to keep you busy and on track till the end of time. Again, everything else is either a specific setting for a plugin, which you're going to know more than you wish about plugins by the time this is done, or just something that is so not necessary for anything we do. So let's go right into let me see what was next here. I had on my list, we are going to go right down to, we just did users. We are going to look at the menu bar because that's very important. So when you create a page, you have a top level menu bar, as you know. I'm going to show you as an example. Here we have one of our colleagues here, Anthony Mucci. Wonderful man. I'm sure many of you know him, probably have worked with him. He's one of us. He's on our team. So here's our, here he's using a WordPress website of ours, and here's his menu bar, right? What I'm showing you is this. When you go into appearance and menus, this is how you navigate and adjust your menu bar. Here's an important piece of the puzzle. When you create a new page, this, for the record, does not have to do with blog posts and articles. This menu right now is just about your top level pages. As you see, your About Us, your services, your reviews and testimonials, etc. So this is your active menu bar. If you click on the right side of it over here, you can open up any one, and you can change the navigation label. So right now, the menu bar label defaults to whatever you titled it when you created the page. So you created a page, let's say, called Reviews and Testimonials. So the menu item is going to say Reviews and Testimonials, right? That just makes sense. If you see on the real site, here's the top level, Reviews and Testimonials. But what if, like Anthony did, he doesn't want it to say Reviews and Testimonials. He wants it just to say reviews with an exclamation point, right? You might want to change what it says on the menu bar while keeping what the page title is. You see, it says Reviews and Testimonials here because he wants that to be written when they see the page. But for the menu bar, he wants it to say something different. So how do you achieve that? Well, you go in to here, you pull it down, and the navigation label right here, you can change this to say whatever you want. So in Anthony's case, he changed this to Reviews with an exclamation point. Come down here, click Save Menu, and now you've just saved it. So we updated it here where it says Reviews and Testimonials. I refresh the page, and lo and behold, it automatically changes to Reviews. So you can change what it says on the menu bar any which way by keeping the title itself. Also, when you open these up, when you open these up, you see one other option you have is remove. If I said, you know what, I don't want this to be on the menu bar, but I don't want to delete the page. This is not deleting the page. This is just deleting the item from the bar. So sometimes you might have a page that you've created or a form that you've created that nobody needs to access directly from the site. Maybe you link to it in a welcome email. Maybe you send it to specific clients for specific reasons. You would just remove it from the menu bar and you don't have to worry about it. A lot of people also ask how you adjust the order of the menu bar. Well, it's very easy. You see when you hover over anything here, you simply get these crosshairs. I can now drag and drop this wherever I want. See, I'm taking the About Us. Let's say I want the About Us to be at the very end. I drag and drop it here, click Save Menu, and it will automatically put itself at the end of the menu bar on the tab here. See, now it's all the way over here. Finally, People say, hey, how do I get sub menus? You know, maybe I want reviews and the photo gallery under the About Us. So let's move the About Us here. Let's say I want the reviews and the photo gallery under About Us. So when people hover over it, it drops down. That's very easy too. You see right here, every menu item is flush left evenly. If I want something to be nestled under a top level item, like if I wanted reviews to be under the About Us, I would drag it here. And you see, I would move it over. I'm dragging it and it indents itself. And that does it. Let's say I wanted the photo gallery also there. I would nestle this under About Us like that. And that's what will do it. I can also rearrange these. I can put the photo gallery there. And now when I save the menu, we have made the two items under About Us. So when we go like this, meanwhile, About Us is going to move back over here. And when I hover over it, I instantly have the two menu items over here. Perfect. So now one of the last things we're going to show you on the menu items is how you get new pages onto the menu bar. Because sometimes when you create and publish a new page, it does not automatically add itself to the menu bar. So, and that's by design. So what you do is you go into menu, and in over here, you will see a few tabs, most recent, and this is going to have all of your recent pages that you created. If you want to add a page that you do not see here, you just go to here where it says view all. Now you are viewing all of your pages. Furthermore, if you have a ton of pages and you can't find it, you go to search and you start typing reviews, and it will show you all the pages that talk about reviews, and you can search and you can use it. So what do? Let's say I want this contact. I already have it here, but let's say I want, well, I'll show you here. I'll open this up. I will remove this. And now it removes itself. I'll save changes if I wanted to save that. So let's say I want the contact page on the menu. Simply click Contact Us, click Add to Menu, and there it is. It adds itself to the menu. And of course, I can drag and drop it wherever I want. Finally, we have something on the menu bar called Custom Links you see right here. This is a very, very useful tool if you want a top-level menu item that is not one of the pages you've created. What do I mean? Maybe I want a menu item over here on my website that links to the 3 nearest humane societies or the 3 nearest shelters in my area. And I want to give them a lot of exposure. So I want links up here. I want a menu item that says local shelters with some drop downs to the 3 specifics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Custom Links. And you see, I can paste whatever web address I want in here. So if I wanted the Humane Society, I would type in their web address, type in local shelter, click Add to Menu, and now I just created a custom link that goes to that website. I click Save Changes, and now I have a top-level menu bar that goes to that web address that I wanted. So that's, again, useful if you want to link out to pages and websites and resources and colleagues and whatever else you want on your menu bar. But for now, we're going to delete it. I'll click Remove. I'll click Save Menu. And I think that should satisfy the menu bar section. How are we doing, Laura?
We're doing awesome. A lot of questions have already been answered and how simple it is. And I know I'm a visual learner, so this is really helping me to go through it step by step. Jane had asked, I think it was Jane, had asked about kind of landing pages and if you can designate a certain page on your website to be a landing page. And it's usually your home page, but it's really what the searchers are going to your page for, whether it's your services page, your blog page. So every page should be representative of your company. So you can't really force one page to be the landing page because people might put in how expensive is a pet sitter, or what are the prices of local pet sitters, and your services page might come up versus your homepage, but it is usually your homepage.
Right. And that's something that may be answered when we talk more specifically about pages and posts. And again, if there are questions you have that are out of the scope of today or not addressed here and now, I love this topic. I operate in this world. This is my world. So I'm all for getting on this again, doing more of these, answering your questions specifically. So certainly reach out to me specifically when this is all said and done, and we can really tie up your loose ends. All right, moving on. So we got the menu bar. Now we're going to go to back up here to posts, okay? Because posts and pages are much of the same. Pages is where you're creating, like I said, all of your top level pages you see here, and posts is where you're going to create your blog articles and your blog posts, all the same. So when you click on it, you have all posts and you have add new. We don't have to worry about categories and tags today. So we're going to click on all posts, and in this website, we have a sample one here. So when you have articles already written, you can hover over this and you will see you have an edit button, which allows you to edit the post. You can send it to trash, or you can view it, which would show you the live view on the website. So we're going to start with a fresh, clean add new. On the top here, you can get directly to an add new, or of course over here, you can click add new, same difference, and you are getting ready to add a new blog post. Again, much of this is identical, whether you are creating a post or a page, so understand that. All right, when you're creating a new post or a page, and again, I'm going to use those interchangeably. So when you're creating a new post, here is what I suggest. I do not suggest sitting down to write the content of your page or post or article within WordPress here. It's just not the best practice. What I suggest is open up some sort of text editor, Evernote, Notepad, Word, Google Drive Docs, just some place that you could sit outside of WordPress and enter in your text, get your content written, and then you can bring it over and paste it into your WordPress here. And then that's where you can begin to design it and lay it out visually how you want. But I always suggest you take the content outside of WordPress, get the thoughts and the written word out, and then paste it here and begin your design of it.
Why do you do that? Because that's not something I do. I write everything in the WordPress. I don't copy and paste.
Well, there are a few reasons. One, I think it's just an easier thing to, if you're ever on the run, to pull up some sort of app or something like that where you can quickly add and get your thoughts out. But then also, what WordPress does, one of the features of it is it will actually auto-save your content while you're working on it. So that's a good plus. But there are just some reasons why you don't want to get a bunch of like half-written articles in here. I mean, you can, I know it happens. Just it's just sort of one of those best practices where you want to operate outside of the system and then utilize it for the design and layout, not really for the content management of it. Good?
Cool.
All right. So here I have, I'm using Anthony's site again. I took one of his articles here just to show you. I have his article here written. So let's say I wrote it here and now I'm ready to put it into WordPress and do all of the customizations with it. So I'm gonna select all. I'm gonna copy this. You know, you right click, you can copy, Control C, however you can copy it. Now I'm gonna bring it over here and I'm going to paste what I've copied. So now I have the content in the content screen, and you see I'm sort of cleaning up some of the things that it did. You know, it added a little bit of extra spacing. So we're going to go step by step through all of the elements on this page. What you see here that I just pasted in is the big content window. This is obviously where your content's going to go. Above it, you see you have your menu items and your formatting bar. Sometimes you might only see one row of options. If you go like that, this is what you might see. You might say, hey, where are my other items? I know I used to have a font family or a font size or font color. Where is it? Sometimes, for some reason, they give this toggle toolbar and you just click this and it'll open up all of your other options. So you see you can choose a different font family. You can choose different font sizes for certain points of your content, and you can choose different headline sizes. Importantly, up over here, you see two tabs, the visual and text. Visual is exactly what you're seeing. It shows you the actual visualization of what you've done. So if I turn this a different color, it'll show me that over here in the visual tab. But if I click on text tab, this is going to show me the HTML text of it. Why would you need the text tab versus the visual tab? You will rarely need the text tab as long as you're comfortable working in the visual. You're only going to need the text tab for things like a piece of code that maybe something gave you. Like if you're creating, let's say, a location map and they gave you a piece of code, or you want to put some sort of Angie's List icon and they gave you the code, you're going to want to go over to text and place it and paste it where you want, because the text is where you put the code. If you put it in visual, here, I'll show you. If I copy this code and I expect it to be here, it's actually just going to print the code. And then you'll say, wait a minute, how come it's not turning into what I expect it to? Because it's giving you the visualization of it. If you actually want the text code, you have to do it in the text. So those are the two important tabs. Over here, you have your formatting options. Again, some of these should be familiar to you. You have your bold. If you want to customize any specific portion, like for example, if I wanted the word cat lovers to be bold, I would highlight it just like Microsoft Word, click bold, and then it's bold, right? I could also highlight it and I could add a link to it. This one is if I want cat lovers, if I want these words to be clickable, to be a link to maybe my cat services page, I'll grab this, I'll select it like that, I'll click insert edit link, and then this is where I can enter the page that I want it to link to. So if I want to link cat lovers to, let's say, Catster magazine, I would just either enter or copy and paste that URL here. And I can choose to have that open in a new window if I want by selecting this box where it says open link in a new window. And when somebody clicks on it, it will obviously take them to Catster in a new window. If you are linking externally, which means if you are linking to an outside off of your website page, it's good practice to open in a new window. However, if you are linking to another page on your site, there's certainly no reason to link in a new window. If I wanted to link this to a cat services page on my website that I already have created, I can actually click this link here that says or link to existing content, and it will open up all of the pages that I have on my website. So I can click, let's say my services and fees. I click that, it now populates with that page. I click add link, and now you see that this will be clickable. So that is how you insert or edit the link. Of course, if I want to edit it, I can go like that. I can click edit here. I can click edit here. Any which way, it'll give me that option. Over here, you see font family. I would hesitate from messing with font family too much because you don't want too many different fonts on your page. You can define elsewhere what overriding font you want for all pages. But what you can use this for is if I want this headline, be ready, understanding cats. These are good paragraph headlines. If I want them to be bigger, I can choose a bigger font size here. You see, and if I want this to be blue, I can highlight it. I can go to text color over here, pull it down, and I have all of these preset options that I can select. But let's say I want a specific color that I don't see. I click here and I see custom, and then I'll be able to choose from a wide variety of colors here. And also, if I know the hex code of the color, I can define it right there, and then it'll be a specific color. Okay? Also, if I want to add a picture, this is always, always, always a point of contention for us. How do I add a picture? How do I get a picture to float around the text? How do I get it to line up the way I want, right? So let's say I want a picture near understanding cats. I want a picture to sit next to this paragraph. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the mouse where I want the picture to reside. Then I am going to come up here, and above the menu bar, there's a link here that says Add Media. I'm going to click on Add Media, and it's going to pull up my media library, which is simply the place where all current photos that I've used on my website reside. So if I actually want to use a picture that happens to be used elsewhere or already designated on my site somewhere, I can just click on it, and I will be able to define it here. If I have a picture on my computer that I want to use, I will go up here where it says upload files. And now I can select a file from my computer. And it's just that simple, right? So if I go into media library, or I have uploaded a file from my computer, it's going to ask you for some options. The alt text over here is one of the most important pieces that you always want to make sure to fill in. Alt text. Why is it important? This is basically the text that Google looks at to determine what the picture is. They can't necessarily see the image. So take the time to put alt text in every picture to alert Google what it is. Important note, never, ever keyword stuff. This is not the place to say pet sitter, Brick, New Jersey, dog walking client, right? You don't want to do that. That will do more harm than good. Google doesn't really, at that point say, oh, this is pet sitter, we're now going to rank it for pet sitter. No, it just needs to know what the image is. So use good best practice and just say, this might be something like dog walking client Willie or whatever it is, right? Or my favorite dog Willie in the grass. And that's fine. So just a normal, regular, short, succinct, descriptive words about what the image is. And then you would insert into post. So let me just enter in dog for fun. I'm going to insert this into post. And now we see we have this adorable dog sitting there for understanding cats. Exactly. We have understanding cats, but we have an adorable dog. Go with me on this. You get the point. So here we have an image that we want to put here, but this doesn't look too pretty, right? I don't want this to be like this with the text down here. I want this image to be, let's say, I'll show you a couple things. Let's say I hit enter, and let's say I want this to actually be centered on the page. I would highlight this, and I could Let's make it a little bigger. We'll make it a headline of a 3. So it's let's go 2. Okay, so it's a little bigger. And let's say I want it to be on the center. I'm going to click over here. You see, you hover over any of these and they'll tell you what it is. So I'm going to highlight this, select Align Center, and now that becomes centered. Fine. Let's say I want this to also be centered. See what I did? I just clicked on it and it gives me options, including delete, remove here, including edit. If I edit it, it'll allow me to add a caption. I can change the alt text. I can do some other things with it. But if I want to center this, here are the alignments. Align center, and now that's centered. Fine, that looks a little better. But what if I want it floating around the text? I want the text to be around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do align left. Look what I just did. By align left, look what happened. You see that? Doesn't that look better? Is that what you want? Yes. But maybe I don't want it on the left. It looks good, but I want it on the right. So I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to click align right. And there it is. The text wraps around your content. So how do you do it? When you insert it, you choose the alignment, align left or align right. You can also do that from up here, right? It's not just here, but they give you this wonderful option. If I want to remove it, I can certainly remove it. So far, so good, Laura.
So far, so good. And I have a question too that somebody else had. When I go into my dashboard, I don't have the options to change the color or the size of the font and stuff like that. That's kind of under. There's the row that starts with the bold, italics,
gotcha.
Add the link and stuff like that. How do I pull up that second bar that's below it?
Gotcha. Now, one, I will say, make sure that you have toggled to make sure you don't. But if you don't, which you very well may not, this is actually a plugin. So I forgot about that. Great question. This is a plugin. When we get to it, it's called WP Edit, and you can see the settings for it right here. WP Edit is the plugin that will give you these additional options to use. Good.
Perfect.
Good. Let me just look at my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything before we move on to the other sections of this page. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to go to, so we covered the basics of your content window, how to insert an image, how to align or float an image, how to center some things, how to change some colors. Now we're going to talk about the title bar up here. This is extremely important. If you're adding a new post, the title of Anthony's post here was preparing for your new kitten. It's a great topic, great title. So let's paste that in here because that works. We can remove this here. We don't need it there if we have it up here. So now the title is preparing for your new kitten. Wonderful. Let's save this draft as you see off to the side here. And I'll get to all these options in just a moment, but I just saved it. And what it did, I saved the draft. So we didn't publish it yet. We're still working with it behind the scenes. We could go grab some coffee. We could leave this for a week. We could do a whole host of things before we publish it. So here I have the title. And if you see under the title, there's something called permalink. Now, this is a fancy word for the direct web address or direct URL to what this blog article will be. What it does is it defaults to the title of your article or your page in the URL. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not good. But WordPress gives us the option to manage that. So you see in the highlighted yellow area here, we have the option. It says preparing dash for dash your dash new dash kitten. By the way, the dashes are best practice and WordPress automatically does that for you. But let's say I don't want it to be that long, or maybe I just want it to say your new kitten or preparing for kitten. So I will just click on this. Or I can click edit, and you see it now gives me the option to create what might be a more user-friendly direct web address for this post. Why is this important? Well, a few reasons. Google wants a descriptive URL that will allow your user to know in part what the topic of that page is before they even visit. So preparing for your new kitten is actually a great URL in the title. But sometimes if you have a very long title or a longer title, or it just has some words that aren't necessary for this definitive web address, you can edit it to your liking. I can delete this and just have it say your new kitten and then click OK. And now the URL will be mydomain.com/yournewkitten. So just something to keep in mind, that you can and should edit down to 3 to 5 words is typical good best practice. So if your page headline, your title, or your post title is long, take that opportunity to edit it down to a few distinct keywords that reference what it is about. So now you have this, and you have a nice title, you have nice content, it looks the way you want. Now you're getting ready to publish it. But before you publish it, this is a very important thing, because what we're getting into now is the way your blog articles will look on your blog tab. If we go back to Anthony's site, you see he has his top level pages, his pet sitters tab with all of his staff members here. That's great. But then like we all do, he has a blogs tab, which will automatically place all new blog articles newest first right here. So you see this one was a couple of days ago, and then it has the ones before it. When he pushes publish, it automatically adds them to this blog homepage. This is the important point. You see how he has a couple of paragraphs, and then it says read more. And it goes here, and he has a couple of paragraphs, and it says read more. This is exactly what you want to do. If you don't do what we're about to talk about, on your blog homepage, you will see all of your articles in full length, and that's not best practice. What you want to do is create this read more break, in a sense. So how do you do that? Every blog post you create, you want to just go 1 to 2 paragraphs in. There's no real science to this. You're going to place the cursor a couple of paragraphs into the post, and you do not have to do this with pages. You only do this with blog post articles. You will place the cursor here, and up in the menu bar, there's something called the read more tag. You hover over it. It seems to be right next to the links, the add links. Hover over it. It says insert read more tag. You click it. You will see this nice line here where it says more. That is where your article is going to break on your blog's homepage tab. So when people see it, they click read more, and now they are taken to your blog article in full. That's what you want to do. Furthermore, a big question I get is, how do I properly share blog posts on my social profiles? This is great. Too often I'll see somebody post a new article without the more tag, and they'll go over to their blogs tab, see the article in full, and share this blog link. You don't want to share your blog homepage. You always want to share the main direct link to the article. So how do you find that? Once you publish your article, you go over to your website, click on blogs, click on the headline of your article to get to the main article URL that we switched to prepare for your new kitten, or whatever you made it to be. Now you have your entire dedicated blog page with the comment ability down here. And you're going to copy this web address, this URL in full, And that's what you're going to copy and paste and bring over to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram, to Pinterest, whatever you're sharing there. So that's how you share blog articles, and that's how you add this read more. Before I wrap this part up and get into the publish options, how are we, Laura?
I think we're doing great. And what I know that I'm taking away from it, I did not know that that read more tab existed. So don't panic and think, oh my God, I'm doing it wrong. I need to go and change all my blogs and that sucks and blah, there's so much to do and learn. It's okay. Just kind of take the information you're learning now and implement it moving forward. So just kind of the aha moments are things to implement moving forward. So it's awesome.
Well, good. And between us and everybody watching, Laura's one of our extraordinary pet sittingology blog content creators. And I know for a fact you don't know about the read more tag, because every time you publish a post, there's no read more tag. And I got to go back and I keep saying, oh, I got to tell Laura about the read more tag. So it happens to all of us, doesn't it?
It happens, and it's not a big deal. So now I know about it. And
right. In fact, it's such not a big deal that I never even told you.
Right, exactly. So don't panic. If you're not doing all of these things or didn't know before, if you're not, you can go back in and add alternate text to the pictures and stuff like that, but you don't have to. Don't scramble, don't panic, kind of put everything into place moving forward.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the final piece of the puzzle on this post page is the publish window here on the top right column. You see, you can save your draft, which again, WordPress does auto save every few minutes, but occasionally you want to click save draft, especially when you're done writing. And then over here, you have a preview button. So after you save, you click preview and it'll open up a new thing and show you a preview of what it looks like. You remember we did this? Look how nice that looks. Understanding cats, it's centered. We floated the image left. We have a link here that we were going to do to our services page. It's all there. We made this purple and on and on. So you can get a feel for what it looks like in your preview. You can also publish when you're ready, and you can move it to trash. If you're like, oh, this ain't working, I don't need this anymore, I'm done with it. You just move it to trash. The good news is if you ever move something to trash, it does not go away forever. You can always restore it. So send things to trash with, at your will there. But the great thing I love about the feature here is people always say, how do I find time to blog? I can't make time. And one of the things is you can always dedicate a specific amount of time to pump out a handful of articles and then schedule them to release maybe once a week or every 10 days or once a month, whatever you want to do. How do you do that? So here we have a saved draft. Let's say we love this. We have all of our elements in place. We're feeling good. We're ready to go, but we have one that we just published and we want this one to come out next week. So what do we do? Here it says publish immediately. See that? And it says edit. If we just hit publish, it would publish immediately. But if we edit this, the date comes and we can dictate when we want to publish this one. So today is the 12th. If I want to do this in 7 days, I would change this to the 19th. I could even dictate the time that I want it to come out. If I want it to come out at 10 in the morning, I'll change that to 10 in the morning. Then I'll click OK. And it says schedule for November 19th at this time. And now the publish button has turned into a schedule button. So when I'm ready to schedule this and forget about it, I click schedule and it will automatically publish on that date and time. Also, I get asked the question, how can I password protect a page or a post? Now remember, this is going to be identical for pages or posts. So let's say I have a service agreement, or I have a policies page, or I have a client that I want to dedicate a page to. So I have all of her updates and all of her videos of her pet on my website. And I created a page just for her or for all my clients, but I just want it to be private and password protected. How do I do that? right over here where it says visibility public. I'm going to go to edit. It gives me some options. And I will choose password protected. And I choose this, and it gives me the space for password. And I type in the most secure password I can find, 123456. I click OK. And now it says visibility password protected. And when you go to that URL, it will ask you for your password before you can view that page. Good enough, Laura?
Good enough.
Excellent.
Better than good. It's better than good enough.
I love it. So let's move on, because I hope that that in and of itself gives you a world in which to work. And we are past the top of the hour, but we're going to continue. I hope this is valuable and you're sticking with us. Let's move on to plugins with new one. I just want to mention about, I'm going to leave this page because we're not saving it. I'm going to talk about plugins, because plugins are always an important part of the whole. People are always saying, what's a plugin? Why do I need them? How do they work? I'm going to make this short and sweet, and I'm going to give you an analogy of your house, your home, the place in which you live. Let's relate that to your website. Your home is your website, let's say. And in your home, who loves Bed Bath & Beyond? I personally must visit Bed Bath & Beyond every 6 days. Are you with me? Laura, you feel that way too?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just they just have so much. Target. What's that?
No, they do have so much.
Yeah. Whether it's Bed Bath Beyond, Target, Home Goods, wherever you like to spend your time, you know, these like big stores that have just so much available in all the aisles. So picture a plugin are all the different items available in your Targets, your Home Goods, your Bed Baths, and what those are doing. You go to those because you need certain things. You need certain functions of your home. If I host dinner parties and I have hot pots and pans that I'm putting on my table, I might look to get a trivet, right? My wife recently told me all about trivets. So now I know more about them than I care to. And I might need a trivet to help me do something better in my home. Or I might need a Lazy Susan in my cabinet to organize my spices. So in this example, the Lazy Susan is going to be a plugin. So what is a plugin? A WordPress plugin is a piece of functionality that helps you achieve anything you can imagine as part of your website. The important note I have to stress here is it is very easy to go plugin crazy. I warn you against that, meaning you're going to want to install and test and use so many different plugins for practically no reason, just because it's fun sometimes. But plugins can be dangerous because they are developed by third-party developers, and not all plugins play well with your current installation. So please be careful. There are some plugins that are known to be well and specific. So for example, here, this is a list of 18 plugins that we deliver and recommend with all of the websites we give you out of the gate. Now, these do various pieces of functionality. For example, this anti-spam plugin behind the scenes helps prevent comment spam, so you're not inundated with all this nonsense that if you don't have one, no doubt you've seen people just randomly commenting and you know, messing up your comments there. We have one for a quote rotator. We have one for our powerful contact form. We have one that's a button creator to easily create buttons. We have one that's a photo gallery, social share buttons, a social media widget on the sidebar, a slider, a customer reviews widget, and an SEO plugin. So that's a general list of the vast array of categories that plugins can help you achieve certain distinct pieces of functionality on your website. So again, if you're looking to achieve something, chances are that there's a plugin available. And how can you search? You go into your plugins, you go into add new up here, and WordPress actually has a depository of, or a directory of thousands and thousands and thousands of plugins on various topics. And you can search here. They show you their most popular. You can look by plugin tags, and you can also search plugins if you know what you're looking to achieve. Like if I want a calendar plugin, I would just search calendar here, and it will show me some optional calendar plugins. And then I can do my research and see which ones are getting good reviews and which have the features that I want. And then I can click on more details, and it gives me all of the insight I can ever want. And then I can install it on my site and see how it operates. But again, please do be careful, because some plugins will mess up other important functionality on your site. So that is plugins. I think that I've covered the vast majority of what we want to do. Anything further before we get into the first look reveal of our new template, Laura? I'm going to come back on screen. Is there anything I need to know?
A question about the plugins. If it does mess up something on my site, is it easy just to remove the plugin and then reset everything?
That's a great question. And the short answer is yes. If you install a plugin, I would then make sure that you go to your front end of the website and click around and make sure everything is operating as it should. And if it does, you're good to go. If it doesn't, if you say, oh my God, that's odd, this isn't loading, now I see a white screen, this is giving me errors, this isn't happening, what you would do is absolutely yes, simply go into your installed plugins page here, and each plugin has a deactivate feature. Once you click deactivate, it will turn to this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you get that? Sorry about that. And then it will turn to this, and you can delete it. You see that when you hover over it. First, you will deactivate it, and then the delete button happens, and you can delete it.
And another question that Al and Lisa and a couple people asked, and Greta, should you update all plugins?
I love the question. I love the question, and you're reading my mind. The answer is yes, absolutely. And not only should you update your plugins, but you should update anything that you see that might need updating, including themes or anything else. But your plugins, here, I'm going to go away from the plugins page for a minute. You see when you log in, under updates, you see 2, and under plugins, you see that red 2. That means that there are 2 updates, and they happen to be for plugins. So you see here, you click on it, and yes, you should always update them. How do you do that? The ones that need updating, you see, there's a variety of ways. It says update available up in the top here. You can click on that, and that'll show you which ones need updating. Or you can scroll down, and when you see this yellow, it'll say there's a new version. You can click right here, update now, and that will do it. So I'll show you. If you click on updates available, you can go like this. You can click here, select them all, bring this down, click update, and click apply, and it will update your plugins. You should absolutely keep your WordPress site updated as often as you can. And you're going to see updates constantly, because plugins are constantly updating themselves and needing for you to update them, because that's going to help you keep your site secure. What else?
Nancy asked if there are there specific social media platforms that you recommend? Social
media platforms or plugins?
Plugins.
Yeah, well, there's 2 that we deliver. There is a share this, which will give you share buttons at the end of all your blog articles. So we use one called Share This, but there's also a popular one called Add to Any, and either of those will work just as well. And then if you want a social media widget we have, which is going to give you this, where you can link to your social networks. There's a plugin for that. It's called Social Media Widget by Accurax. So that's a yes.
Cool.
All right. Let me come back on screen for a moment. Oh, hello. How are we doing there? Good?
Doing good.
Good. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. So that's basically it. I know we're running a little over. Again, I hope this is valuable. What we're going to do now is, again, I live and breathe in this world, so I'm not going anywhere far. We can do this again and again. We can recap. We can take this a step further. But what I'm going to do now is I want to show you, for the people who are interested in coming along with me, whether you're a current client of our WordPress powered websites for the pet industry, or you're currently using another host and designer, but you wanna get in our world for everything that it's worth, or you are not using WordPress and you say now is the time, because when you come on board with us as a client, we deliver to you a fully functioning powered website with all the bells and whistles. We teach you, we train you, we maintain it, we support it, we back it up automatically nightly, so you never have to worry about that. We give you a mobile-friendly website right out of the gate. We give you a supportive community, everything you could possibly want, and it's all inclusive for next to nothing, really. But what we're doing now is we've been doing this for over 4 years. Along the way, we always add different things. We listen to you guys to see what you want and need. Now is the time. We're ready to offer our next generation of template. This really blew my mind, because we get a handful of requested features. This template not only restructures everything from the back end and the front end, but what you're going to see this is able to do, you are going to be going to be able to edit your website from the front end, from the visual page, as your clients see, but they can't edit it, of course. You're going to be able to edit it by pointing and clicking. So give me a few minutes of your time, if you will. I'm going to I recorded this yesterday so I can stay and answer and participate here. So it's a short video walking you through the next generation that we are launching right now. And I'll maintain, again, it's a recorded video of me sharing my screen of that. So let me load that, and then we'll stay here. And we'll keep the dialogue going, because again, this is recorded, but I'll be here to continue to answer any questions. And I really appreciate you guys digging this, because I dig it too. Let's see how this goes. Oh, hello. I don't know what happened. Hello?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what happened? The video. Let me see. Why did it stop? Hello there. Are you there, Laura?
I am. Good
Well,
to see you
good.
again.
Yeah, likewise. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why I can't hear myself, but it's all good. Well, thank you, Lisa. Another amazing workshop. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. So that's basically it. I know there was a lot to cover. I'm thrilled and glad that I was able to at least dispense this. You know it's recorded. You know that you can use this to go back. Again, I live and breathe in this world. Petsittingology.com. If you're a client in any regard, you're in our private Facebook group. If you're not, come on board. You will be welcomed in every wonderful regard. Email me, Facebook me, look for me, whatever you got to do. Any final thoughts, Laura?
No, it was great, and I learned a lot. So looking forward to the continued discussion and another hangout on WordPress, because there's so much available, and it really is all about content. So.
Yes. Before we part, Hillary, speaking of content, asked a great question. If you have a site and you, whether with us or not with us, and you upgrade to this new version, switching templates and themes and whatnot, if you have a WordPress powered site, again, whether with us or not with us, you never have to start from scratch. You never lose everything that's on the page. WordPress is so robust. They've got that covered. You could, now that's not to say that changing themes and templates might not look different on the page naturally, right? But what you're doing is everything is going to maintain. Even if you are with a separate host and designer and you want to come over to us, WordPress has an import-export feature where we can export your current content, your pictures, your galleries, your photos, your videos, your posts, your blogs, everything, export it, and then import it to our template and solution there. So good. I appreciate it. Tess asks about the Hello Bar and sliders. Well, we have our own version of the Hello Bar and sliders. So all improved. So naturally, if you're using our current template and you want to upgrade or switch to this newer one, all of your content, et cetera, is naturally going to come along, because really what that will come along. But we have different sliders. So if you have a slider, you'll still have a slider. If you have a Hello Bar, you'll have a version of the Hello Bar there. So whatever you want, we'll maintain and just be bigger and better. All right. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Have a great day. Please do keep in touch. Let me know how you find it. We'll keep the dialogue and conversation going. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. We'll see you around. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.